just for children. All right.
I don't. I know. I honestly.
And she crushes it, right?
She does, absolutely. But I'm telling you, Ario and her, they were completely like, it was, that Ario show is so awesome and so much fun. And if you allow yourself to get into it, it's awesome.
You know, Nick and I were in Atlanta. She was doing something for the show Las Vegas in Atlanta. Oh, she had to be Atlanta Motor Speedway, something. She had to shoot like a scene with Jimmy Johnson, and that's where he lives,
right.
The race car driver. That night, we see that Bon Jovi is playing at the Phillips Arena where like the Atlanta Hawks play. And we're like, oh my God. So somehow I get in touch, just a phone call to like 2 phone calls I get to Richie Sambora, Jersey guys, the little network of us. He's like, you gotta come, man. I'll leave you guys tickets. He's like, Mr. Whoa. He's like, hey man, everything's great. The sun's shining. It's raining. Who gives a fuck? Let's drink. So me and Nick go to this Bon Jovi concert, filled like with hipster bullshit irony. We're the coolest people. We're going. It's going to be hilarious. We're going to go see Bon Jovi. It's going to be what a fucking joke. These guys are like 48, 50 years old. 2 songs in.
Yeah.
We're standing on our chairs screaming.
Yep.
It was one of the best shows we've ever seen.
Yep.
Frankie used to work on the docks, and they're doing like Runaway and shit, and I'm like, oh my God. And I had like this visceral reaction where I shook her because Runaway was my freshman year of high school. And Runaway was like wrestling practice, like we'll run to Runaway.
Right.
And on the streets where you live, girls talk about their social life. And then I'm doing it horrible because I'm laughing too hard to do it. But when that shit came on, when I heard that I started shaking her like a crazy, like don't shake the baby.
Right.
And we left there feeling like assholes because we showed up with the worst attitudes. And at the end of the day, she's shooting like the show Las Vegas. I'm nickel and diamond together like one-nighters. And then these guys, it's just a Tuesday to them.
Right.
And some lady grabbed John's dick on stage because he's too close, and he pulls back and goes, "It ain't scratch and sniff, baby." And we were like, and we're laughing like that's the funniest thing I've ever heard. Oh my God! That's so it is amazing. Like you're telling me the REO Speedwagon, I would probably do the same thing.
They're badass, dude. And it's
is it all the original guys?
You forget. No, they've changed all like over time. I mean, a lot. You
go see Chicago. It's like there's like 4 black guys. There's an Asian. Journey has that Filipino.
I know.
Really cool. Really cool. Yeah. Hey, I'm that really cool Filipino guy. Oh my God, I saw Journey, and there's a Filipino guy where Steve Perry should be. Whoa, what the H? Oh my God.
You know what's my favorite Norm Macdonald moment of all time was on that Bob Saget roast.
Yeah, you know what? It's probably the 3rd time on this podcast this exact thing has come up.
I'm telling you.
You got it.
That's when I was like, okay.
It took such balls, and again, never underestimate the stupidity of white people. The people in that audience were like,
oh yeah.
This is terrible.
Right, they're going, oh no, Norm Macdonald, he really has lost his
He's lost it. He's like, hey, Susie Essman says she's a vegetarian, but we know that's not true because she's full of baloney.
In my book.
Yeah, I don't know how you don't get that one.
Oh, God.
He's got a face like a flower, a cauliflower. And then, like, no one laughs. And at one point he goes, I don't know how you don't laugh at that one.
I don't know why you don't laugh.
And the comics are gone.
Yeah, they're dying.
As Colin Quinn told me on this podcast, his act has always been a bit of a dog whistle. Like that comics, we're just wired in.
Yeah.
But you are wired into that dog whistle that Norm shot out.
Of course.
Is it just showbiz people that get like when someone's doing something or is it smart people?
It's both, but it's also like I grew up just with so much stand-up comedy and so much comedy. Yeah. And like, I mean, it's just, forget about it. I mean, even in the car, I've got my Sirius satellite radio and I get the whole, first thing, all the presets are
Raw
all
Dog,
comedy stations. All
Jim
Raw
Breuer.
Dog, Foxhole, all that stuff.
Yeah, my wife's mother, for some reason, raised her on Motown and like stand-up comedy. Like made her sit down and watch Louis Anderson's HBO special. Like beats. Like when Louis did the drunk guy at the end. I'm starving for those things. Your whole family owes my whole family an apology.
I would listen to Richard Pryor and Steve Martin on record, on vinyl when I was a tiny kid, just over and over again.
Yeah, her mom would go like, "This is," and why? Like how you and I would break down comedy or music and go like McCoy Tyner. He just plays one note.
Right.
I saw Buddy Hackett. I was doing a college in Winston-Salem, and when I was leaving the college across the street, I saw Buddy Guy walk into a bar, and I said, I think that's Buddy Guy. And they go, yeah, he's doing like a show or something. Like fucking college kids are so the opposite of what you thought as a kid.
I know.
Like college, you get there, everyone's just wired into what's going on.
Totally.
Yeah, it's like he's doing a show or something, and we're all wearing cargo pants and our hats are on backwards.
It depends on what.
We're all reading the same books or something, and everything sounds like a question. And I walked into a bar, and it must have been like his third show of the night, and he was just ham and egging it, and it was his third show at 1 a.m. There was probably, if I say 30 people, I'm overestimating, and that was the first time I had ever seen that greatness live. Like I'd been to concerts in my life, but that was the first time I saw a singular performance.
Yeah,
and he in that show played one note for so long, I got uncomfortable for him.
Right.
And then you like we were talking about Coltrane, when you break through and you come around, and Clapton started doing it on his acoustic album.
Yeah.
And it is weird, like these guys. What's a performance you saw? For me, I saw Rufus Wainwright with my wife at the Long Beach Convention Center, and here's the greatest amount of talent I've ever seen live from one human being. And what made him separate from everybody else, and then please talk way more than I am after this, is I can't relate to anything he's writing. He's a gay guy writing about unrequited gay love and being in love with his art teacher, who was a guy who took him to see the John Singer Sargents. I don't even know who that is. Right. And yet it hits me. It's not like Springsteen, like where I go, yes, we got to get out of this fucking town. It'll rip the bones from your back. It's a death trap. It's a suicide rap. We can live with the sadness.
Totally.
I'll love you with all the madness in my soul. Oh, like I get all of it. It's exactly me. Even Bon Jovi, I get it.
Of course.
But like Rufus at Long Beach Convention Center it was just him, began the piano of Leaving for Paris, and I burst it. Thank God we were like halfway up, not in the front. I burst into tears. Yeah. And about 18 seconds goes by, and he stops and he goes, I'm totally playing this wrong. I'm sorry, I have to start over. And I'm like, I'm crying at the wrong version?
Right.
And my wife knew what he did different, and I never caught it. But like, there's such great, like when you just did Masters of War, and when you're going to do Beautiful Pain, like, I don't know how the fuck you walk around with that in you. That's not really a question. I guess it's I'm in awe of guys like you. What's the single greatest guy, like one or woman, single greatest performance you've seen, like where it was just a person?
It was live, and it was one person.
Any type of acting, comedy, music?
God, I gotta think. I mean,
I saw Jordan drop 55 on the Knicks every Christmas in the Garden. Yeah, I saw the greatest, like Jordan.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is everything I knew up until now was foolish. Or what's the best show you've ever seen?
I've got a great. Well, you know what's one of the best shows?
If you say REO Speedwagon, it's the end of the podcast.
No. One of the best shows, one of the best nights actually that I've ever seen. A friend of mine named Stephen Kellogg. He has a band called Stephen Kellogg and the Sixers, and their live show. He invited me to come sit in on a 2 consecutive sold out nights at the Paradise in Boston. In the middle of winter, and it's snow on the ground. It was just beautiful. And I think it was the second night of that show. And it was one of the most just dynamic, amazing shows because there were 4 people, I think, playing that because I think they had a guitar player as well in the band, but like an additional electric guitar player as well. But everybody in the band is just fucking smart, funny, intense and emotional and connected. They all have stories. They all have like just a lot of depth and richness to them. They have an amazing rapport with each other because the core, like 3 of them, have been playing together for, 10 years or something more, and just touring and writing. Stephen Kellogg.
And the Sixers.
SK Sixers or Stephen Kellogg and the Sixers. And just
great name.
This live show, man, it was like, first of all, the entire audience knew all the words to all their songs. Especially in the Northeast, they've got an amazing following.
It's a Boston crew.
And it was a whole Boston and the surrounding areas. And so they're from
Boston supports their own like no other town.
Oh yeah, totally. Chicago too. Chicago's mutually like that. But LA not so much.
No, not at all.
I'm an LA native.
There's too much to do.
Right, of course. I understand it. But anyways, but this show just had everything. It was like people had tears in their eyes. People were bawling. People were laughing hysterically. They were dead silent. They were screaming and yelling. It was just like, it was unbelievable. That one performance. And then there's a band that I just got turned on to. Laura turned me on because, my girlfriend's a publicist and she hosts a couple of internet radio shows on Breakthrough Radio, which is
Breakthrough Radio.
Yeah. It's really, really cool. Cool internet radio station. She plays my shit all the time. And
we like that.
But she turned me on to a band called the Bar Brothers that are unreal, dude. You should definitely check them out. They're amazing because they have influences from a lot of
Are they as good as the Bacon Brothers?
even better. What's better than bacon? Jim Gaffigan does a bit about Kevin Bacon.
That's what I saw him. When you get bacon in your salad, it's just how much lettuce can I move out of the way to get rid of bacon?
Exactly.
But you brought up an interesting thing with
he does a thing about Kevin Bacon. He's like, don't tell me that his name doesn't have something to do with his success. Because when you think of Kevin Bacon, you go, that guy's delicious.
He's delicious.
Right.
Kevin Bacon's gotten way more handsome as he's gotten older, ladies. Am I right? Like young Kevin Bacon, he's got kind of like snout nose.
The pig nose.
And something about him now is kind of hot, right? It's like when Alec Baldwin got heavy in the beard, you go, oh, now I love how this guy looks.
Totally.
Hot, fat, hairy Alec Baldwin. Then you see him skinny and you're like, ugh, I don't want you as a twink.
Totally.
I want you as the man, Keaton.
I know. Do you do Alec? Can you do like a...
the funny story is, I called him to be in a movie I was producing, and he goes, I can't do it. I'm doing this show for Tina Fey. It's about Saturday Night Live. And I go, well, he goes, what's going on with you? And I said, well, I'm getting married. He goes, what? Why? And I go, I fell in love. And he goes, why would you ever stick your hand back in the garbage disposal? Why? And I'm like, I'm in love. And he goes, what does she do? I said, she's an actress. And he goes, I've told the story on the podcast, so I'll make it quick. I go, she's an actress. And he goes, a real one or a waitress? And I go, no, she's on a show. He goes, what show? I go, Las Vegas. And he's been on Las Vegas. Yeah. And there's a long pause. He goes, which one? I go, Nikki Cox. He goes, forget everything I just said.
That's awesome.
He's hysterical. Did I tell the Jason Sehorn story too? I was on an airplane. Jason Sehorn was a cornerback for the New York Giants. Yeah. The only white corner in the history of football post 1980. And he just signed like a 6-year, $36 million deal with the Giants. And he married Angie Harmon, and she quit Law & Order. And I get on the red eye from L.A. to New York, and Alec Baldwin's in the middle aisle. We haven't taken off yet, but he is out. He's fucking Dan Haggerty, the giant beard. He's snoring. He's got his blankets. So they're going to have to wake him up to sit him up to take off, and then he's going back out. Like, this is his sleep time.
That's awesome.
And Sehorn's talking to me. We're on either sides of Alec Baldwin, and I go, why didn't you leave Law & Order? And he goes, she just felt like it was a little constricting. I'm paraphrasing all of what Sehorn is saying. I'm paraphrasing. And, there's more opportunities for her as a movie actress. Maybe there's nothing worse than people not in the business, like talking business shop. Like, she can get it back to film. Right. Like, and he's talking to me like, you know how it is, like, Jay. Film. And Alec Baldwin woke up. Like, the bullshit woke him up. And he goes, hey, buddy. You want to know when she decided to leave that show? The minute she met you.
That's awesome.
And he rolls over and goes, hey, Jay. And he goes to back to back. Like 6 years, $36 million. Oh. I don't really feel like going to work and working 15 hours a day anymore. Right. How about we just spend your money?
That's amazing, dude.
But you brought up an interesting point about Stephen Kellogg and the Sixers, that the audience knew everything they did and every word, and they were completely interactive. But there's other times... And I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. When everyone shows up wired in. But then there's other times like Jane's Addiction I saw at the Ritz. 1991 was the best show I've seen. Not including the Rufus show, but as a band.
I saw them at Coachella.
But they imposed.
Right.
Well,
exactly.
They
took over.
They just removed your brain and filled it with this malevolent beat that you were powerless.
Totally.
They fucking imposed. They put a